Hello, my name is Andrew McNeil Jones and I am a painter based in Oxford. I originally studied fine art at the Ruskin School of Art here in Oxford some years ago. The painting that I've got in this show is called The Ring of the Cleaver. It was inspired by some images from a film that I found. I put the images together to create a sort of narrative tension. It appears to be a period domestic scene. The man on the left seems to be in an animated conversation and the woman on the right is listening. But they seem to be frozen in an ambiguous moment. Is this an angry tirade or is he bringing news? Who knows, maybe good news. Is she simply gazing into the middle distance or is she tense with anxiety? I wanted this to be left to the viewer to interpret for themselves. And the title, it came from an article I read about a blacksmith who made meat cleavers and then he tuned them and made them ring by hitting them, producing different musical notes. The rather sinister cleaver being repurposed in quite a beautiful way. And again, I like that duality, the dark and the light, that actually seems in effect all too human.
Hi, my name is Ariana Luis and I'm a British-Australian painter based in London. And if I had to define my work, I would define it as figurative but with a very surrealist undertone. I like to think that my paintings play on both sides of the threshold between the mundane and the surreal. The piece that I have included in the upcoming show would go with YAMO. It melds religious iconography and traditional architectural elements in a very contemporary manner.
Hi, my name is Beverly Duckworth and I'm a contemporary artist based in Hackney, East London. I originally studied art through distance learning whilst I was working in the charity sector and bringing up 2 young kids. I tend to work with discarded materials and in particular discarded bodily matter like skin, hair and the dust that they become. The work that will be featured in this exhibition is called Capsula and is a film which documents an endoscopy that I performed on my vacuum cleaner. It struck me that the vacuum cleaner was actually a repository for my DNA, that fragments of my body, my skin and my hair were regularly being sucked into the stomach of the machine. I decided to explore the traces of my body that were being held within the vacuum cleaner in this capsule outside of my body, and I wanted to explore it in the same way that the inside of my body would be explored in a medical context.
Hi, my name is Karina Riaan and I am a movement and surreal visual artist based in London. Throughout my life, I've developed my synesthetic vocabulary, first as a dancer within classical ballet and several contemporary styles, and then as a film director, photographer, and painter. As part of my lifelong artistic ambition to presence and remind people of their human condition, I undergo a constant research process to find the elements that compose the essence of the human nature, looking for our similarities rather than our differences. These elements, characterized by pleasure and pain, tend to originate from a place of suffering, which leads to empathy, an incredibly strong and humanizing tool. Seeing the dual nature of my background, movement plays a big part in the way I envision the birth of an image and in my devotion to physicalize the cinematic experience. For the gowithYamo exhibition, I will showcase 3 videos which explore the main quality of a video installation: repetition. The main character becomes possessed by his repetitive actions and ultimately loses himself. I am intrigued by how repetition can affect a person and where it can lead if provoked or exhausted until it deforms. I call this process losing form in order to gain form, and I take inspiration from the ordinary and how the smallest of things we take for granted can be a starting point for creation. I believe it's important to be aware of the potential of repetition, to allow the mind, body, and soul to experience a temporary death, to recalibrate and become primal again, something which we can't do every day in public.
Hello, my name is Lucy Oats and I'm a multidisciplinary artist based in London. In my practice I focus on utilising and fusing waste materials within traditional techniques, which is how I came to develop printmaking with cans and plastic packaging. Royal Arm is the piece of work that I'm exhibiting in the exhibition and is part of a family of wearable sculptures I made in 2019. The collection of sculptures were in response to a video I recorded of myself putting on jeans that were too small. The video really informed the body of work that this sculpture was created in, as I printed many prints of manipulated stills from the video, which in turn then acted as sketches for the sculptures. I really wanted to emphasise textures and shapes that came out in the prints, which I call problem areas, I say in quotation marks. The sculpture is made of recycled materials and involved me screen printing and sewing. The sculpture frame, when reassembled, takes on a new form each time. This is to replicate the idea of someone or something being inside the sculpture. I like to think of it as an ongoing, slow performance, with Roll Arm having a mind of its own.